In the last video I showed you the risk data. We as motorcyclists face double the risk on the roads as a result of these crumbling road surfaces. But today I want to talk about money, and specifically your money. How much money does the government take from us as riders, and where does all that money go? Because when you understand the answers to those questions, you can see why our anger is justified. Every year, drivers and motorcyclists in the UK contribute around £32 billion in road-related taxation. Vehicle Excise Duty, fuel duty. £32 billion. But how much of that comes back to road maintenance? Only 12 billion. That's 37 pence in every pound raised from drivers and motorcyclists. The rest, general taxation. The NHS, schools, debt servicing, whatever the Treasury decides. Now you may well think that that's fine. Not all of that £32 billion does actually need to be spent on repairing the roads. And in some respects you're right. But the reality is that the amount of money that the government spends on repairing the roads is not enough. The 2026 Alarm Survey published by the Asphalt Industry Association was the 31st of its kind, and it covers a survey of every local authority and highway team in England and Wales. The backlog of road repairs that councils simply cannot afford to carry out? £18.6 billion. That's a new record, up 54% in a single decade. At current spending rates, it would take 12 years to clear the backlog. And this year alone, 5,200 potholes were filled somewhere in England and Wales every single day. 5,200 every day, and still the conditions aren't improving. And this is England and Wales only. Scotland and Northern Ireland carry their own backlogs on top. Northern Ireland alone is estimated to be over £1 billion. The chair of the Asphalt Industry Association, in his own words, called it a national disgrace. But specifically for motorcyclists, the important point is that not all vehicles cause the same amount of damage to the road surfaces. It's not even close. Road engineers use something called the fourth power law. Double the weight gives 16 times the amount of damage. A typical motorcycle weighs around 230 kilograms. That's your baseline, 1 unit of damage. A family car around 1600 kilos. So if you run the maths, a car causes roughly 200 times more road damage than a motorcycle per journey. A fully laden van around 7,000 times more. And a 40-ton HGV approximately 160,000 times more damage. So if we take the average motorcycle as a 600cc motorcycle, you'll be paying £87 in VED at the current rates. If you then add on fuel duty and you do the average number of miles, which is 5,000 miles a year, you're going to be paying about another £270 in fuel duty. A car, £195 for VED, and average fuel duty on 10,000 miles is around £800 a year total. A van, it's nearer £1,700, an HGV over £24,000. But now let's take a look at the bit that will probably make you very angry. Divide what each vehicle pays in road tax by the damage it actually causes. Motorcyclists pay approximately 150 times more tax per unit of road damage than car drivers. Vans pay a fraction of a percent of what proportionality would demand. HGVs, the vehicles most responsible for pothole formation, pay virtually nothing. So the taxation system is not at all based on damage. It never has been. It is based on fuel consumption and a flat rate VED that has no relation to the amount of damage that vehicles do to the road. So I don't think it's at all unreasonable for motorcyclists to ask for proportionality. Now, to be fair, when you look at proportionality, if you did charge HGVs at a proportional rate to the amount of VED that is being charged to motorcyclists, it would become ridiculous. But I don't think it's unreasonable to address this imbalance, to make it a little bit fairer for motorcyclists. When only 37 pence in every pound raised from taxpayers comes back to the roads, And when the backlog sits at £18.6 billion and counting, it's not surprising that the quality of our roads is declining. So yes, I think riders have every right to be angry about this situation with potholes. Not only do we face the highest risks, we also pay disproportionately in taxation to get the roads repaired. And yet still, the roads are not kept in a good condition. So in the next video, the final one in this short series, what I'm going to be looking at is what the government could and should be doing about it. Because let's face it, there are answers out there. The question is only whether or not the government will actually grasp the nettle and do something about it.